just trying to block me. Everything was going against the sanction bodies, going against everything that people sit and tolerate. I wasn't tolerating it, so it's kind of like the black sheep, like, he's the bad one, get him out of here, we don't need him.
I think this is disgusting. I think this is musty at the highest level. Oh, Shakur Stevenson has been stripped.
Terence Crawford has finally spoken out, and he is not holding anything back. The boxing icon went on Instagram and dropped a message that rocked the entire sport while directly challenging the World Boxing Council. His tone was sharp, precise, and full of sarcasm when he wrote, "WC, there is no way you are still this upset. It is all good, the ring belt cost nothing." This was not a random comment from a former fighter looking for attention. This was Crawford stepping straight into a fight that has been building for months.
Sanction bodies, huh? Answer that question. What makes you better than the WBO, the IBF, or the WBA? Everybody accepted what I was giving them. But you, the WBC, think that you better than everybody, don't you?
He stepped in to protect his fighter Shakur Stevenson while standing up to one of boxing's strongest organizations. The tension between fighters and sanctioning bodies has been growing for many years. What is happening now goes far beyond normal complaints about politics and corruption. This feels personal. It is about payback, unfair treatment, and a conflict that could damage the sport from within. What the WBC did to Shakur Stevenson mirrors exactly what they did to Crawford only months before. Fans across boxing are now starting to see the pattern clearly. Everyone is asking the same question. Is this truly about rules and regulations? Or is the WBC targeting fighters who dare to challenge their authority? To understand why Crawford is so angry, we have to rewind to January 31st, 2026. That was the night Shakur Stevenson entered Madison Square Garden with everything on the line. The 28-year-old fighter from Newark, New Jersey entered the ring to face Teofimo Lopez, a boxer known for his power, speed, and confidence that often seemed like arrogance. Lopez held the WBO junior welterweight title, and most experts expected him to win. Stevenson was very skilled, but many questioned if he had the power to compete with the best at 140 pounds. Those doubts vanished as soon as the fight started. Shakur dominated nearly every round, showing flawless boxing fundamentals. His jab snapped Lopez's head back, his movement kept him safe, and his ring intelligence let him outthink and outmaneuver one of the division's toughest fighters. When the final bell rang, there was no doubt. Shakur Stevenson had won, capturing both the ring and WBO junior welterweight titles in one of his most complete performances. Beyond the belts, he became a four-time world champion at just 28, joining an elite group including Oscar de la Hoya, Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, Canelo Alvarez, and Terence Crawford. Winning titles in 4 weight classes proves true greatness, showing skill, discipline, and the ability to adapt as the body changes. In the moments after the fight, Terence Crawford stood in the ring with Shakur, celebrating with him as the crowd cheered loudly. The boxing world was buzzing. Shakur Stevenson had reached the top of the sport, and his future looked endless. But that future fell apart just days later. On February 4, 2026, the World Boxing Council shocked fans, analysts, and Shakur himself. In an official statement, the WBC announced that Shakur Stevenson was being stripped of his WBC lightweight title immediately. The timing was harsh. Shakur had just achieved the biggest win of his career, and before he could even enjoy it, the organization took one of his belts away.
It was an amazing night. I put the work in. I stayed disciplined throughout my camp. I was in tremendous shape, and T.O., he's a hell of a fighter, but I was the better man tonight.
The reason they gave seemed simple at first. Under WBC rules, a champion cannot hold belts from other organizations in different weight classes, especially where they don't hold a WBC title. Since Shakur had just become the WBO junior welterweight champion, the WBC said he could no longer keep the lightweight belt. On paper it sounds reasonable, but there's a problem. Most fighters in this situation are given time to decide. When you move up in weight and win a new title, sanctioning bodies usually allow a grace period to choose which division to compete in. Fans and analysts expected Shakur to have weeks or even months to make his choice. Instead, the WBC acted immediately, stripping him just days after his win, as if waiting for the perfect moment to strike.
Right, Shakur Stevenson has been stripped of his WBC 135-pound belt, fresh off his absolute destruction and masterclass in ending Teofimo Lopez's career last Saturday night in Madison Square Garden with the beautiful display.
The Newark fighter barely had time to celebrate before everything was taken away. Shakur Stevenson is not the type to stay quiet when he feels disrespected, and his reaction on social media was explosive. He went to X, formerly Twitter, and posted directly calling out the WBC. His main point was clear. They wanted him to pay $100,000 in fees for a fight where their belt was not even involved. Shakur fought Teofimo Lopez for the ring and WBO titles. The WBC lightweight belt was not on the line and Lopez was not their champion. The organization had no part in the fight, yet demanded a six-figure payment just because he held their title while moving up. In one tweet he wrote $100K to some crooks who don't deserve it. Nalilani, I'd rather give it to you, baby girl, showing where he thought the money should go. He went further, saying the WBC had nothing to do with the fight and it was bothering them. To Shakur, this was not about rules but about the WBC being upset they were left out of a major fight and punishing him. He also pointed out he had already paid them after his last bout. His question was fair. Why am I giving you $100K now? Then he added, because you have issues with Bud, you're coming after me, linking it to a bigger pattern with the WBC. His final message was bold. Take your belt, it doesn't define me. I am still a champion with or without the WBC.
WBC has stripped him now of his 135-pound title because he won the WBO title at 140. Shakur Stevenson made it abundantly clear that he's a 135-pounder. He's going up in weight just for situational fights.
To understand why Shakur accused the WBC of having issues with Bud, we need to go back a few months to one of the most controversial moments in recent boxing history. In September 2025, Terence Crawford achieved what many thought was impossible. He moved up to super middleweight and defeated pound-for-pound king Canelo Alvarez, becoming the undisputed champion at 168 pounds. This historic win cemented Crawford's legacy as one of the greatest fighters ever. He had won another weight class, dethroned one of the sport's biggest stars, and shown once again that his skill was on another level. The boxing world was still reacting when December 2, 2025 arrived and the WBC made a shocking move. They stripped Crawford of his WBC super middleweight title, claiming he owed $300,000 in sanctioning fees and had refused to pay. What followed next became legendary in boxing.
Rush to do nothing. Can't give this dude a week to make a decision on what he wants to do next.
Crawford quickly responded with a video that went viral within hours, and his words were as direct as possible. "Boy, you better check yourself, I am not paying you," Crawford said straight to the camera, showing all his anger and frustration. "What are you even talking about? Pay you $300,000? His reaction was raw and unfiltered, exactly the kind that can turn a business dispute into a full-blown war. WBC President Mauricio Sulman later tried to defend the organization in several interviews, explaining how the fees were calculated.
Him $300,000 plus another $100K something for sanction fees, right? Then he gonna tell me I ain't even apologize? Like, who the fuck you think I am? Boy, you better slap your fucking self and paying your ass shit. Fuck you talking about pay you $300,000.
According to Sullian, Crawford had made about $50 million from the Canelo fight, and the usual WBC sanctioning fee would be 3% of that. He said the WBC had been generous, lowering it to just 0.6%, which came to $300,000. He added that $225,000 of that would go to the Boxers Fund, a charity started by his late father Jose Sullian to help fighters in need. On paper it sounded fair, but Crawford did not accept it, and his response revealed a major flaw in the WBC's reasoning.
Not comply with the rules, then he moves up to super middle and makes the fight of the century, beats Canelo, makes $50 million or around that. The WBC absolutely is not going to charge 3% of such an amount. We made a very clear 0.6%, which is $300,000.
Every other major sanctioning body, the WBO, the IBF, and the WBA, accepted the payments Crawford offered with no issues. So why was the WBC the only one demanding more? Why did they feel they deserved a higher fee than all the others? Crawford's question remained unanswered. His response became one of the most dramatic exits boxing has seen in years. Instead of continuing the fight with the WBC, Crawford announced his retirement. He left the sport as an unbeaten 5-weight world champion and the first fighter in the 4-belt era to become undisputed in 3 different divisions.
Your body through hell for 30 years. Would you retire? All right then. So there go your answer. So that's why I retired. I gave my all to boxing, but I'm not going to give my health to boxing. If I was to come back, well, who would I fight? I'm asking you.
Just answer a good question.
All right, so there you go. There you go. I have nobody to fight. I have nothing to accomplish. So now I'm just coming back for the sport. And just...
It was a legacy that seemed untouchable. But the WBC tried anyway. Social media exploded as fans and analysts noticed the similarities between what happened to Crawford and what was happening to Shakur Stevenson. The pattern was hard to ignore. Both were close friends and training partners. Both had their WBC titles stripped within months. Both cases involved disputes over sanctioning fees. Both had openly criticized the WBC and its practices. The idea spread quickly. Was the WBC targeting fighters who spoke out? Was this punishment disguised as rule enforcement? Shakur's claim that the WBC had issues with Bud and was coming after him suddenly made a lot of sense. The timing was too perfect, the situations too similar. If you believe in coincidences, it was a strange one. But if you think powerful organizations sometimes punish those who challenge them, what was happening to Shakur looked a lot like payback. The boxing world was divided, but one thing was clear. The WBC's credibility was taking a serious hit.
You put Lamont Roach at number 2. Shakur says, okay, I'm willing to fight Lamont Roach. And you strip him? This is why these sanctioned bodies are a joke. Look how long Gervonta Tank Davis held the WBA title. It's a joke.
Fans began asking if the organization cared about the sport at all or just about protecting its money and reputation. Terence Crawford had been watching quietly from the sidelines. Retired but clearly still invested in the sport and in his protege's career, he let Shakur handle things on his own for weeks. But silence has its limits. Crawford reached that point when he saw the WBC doing to Shakur exactly what they had done to him. The retired legend could not stay quiet any longer. His Instagram post was carefully crafted to send a clear message without over-explaining. He spoke directly to the WBC with words that mixed mockery and defiance. WBC, ain't no way y'all are still this mad. It's cool, bro. The ring belt was free. That last line was a sharp jab at the organization's obsession with sanctioning fees.
The WBC, and you got the fucking green belt, which don't mean fucking shit. Fucking real belt is the ring belt, which is free, motherfucker. What are you talking about? You want me to pay you more than the other sanctioned bodies because you feel like you better than them. How in the world all the sanctioned bodies agreed to the same amount, but you sit your motherfucking ass up there and say that I need to apologize?
The Ring Magazine Championship, one of boxing's most respected titles, doesn't charge fighters anything. You earn it through skill, not by paying a governing body. Crawford was basically saying keep your expensive belts, the ones that really matter don't cost a thing. But his message to Shakur was just as important. By speaking out, Crawford showed support and solidarity, telling his protege, I see what they're doing to you and I've got your back. He didn't just post once and stop. He retweeted all of Shakur's posts, amplifying his voice and making sure the boxing world knew what was happening. The point was clear. The WBC was still upset about Crawford refusing to pay, and now they were punishing anyone connected to him. The most telling part was WBC President Mauricio Sullivan, who had defended the organization in the Crawford dispute, stayed completely silent about both fighters. No statement, no explanation, nothing. While the drama between Crawford-Stevenson and the WBC played out, a bigger threat was rising. Sullivan was now facing a fight on multiple fronts, including the sport's most powerful promoter, Dana White. The UFC president had recently launched Zuffa Boxing, a new promotion with a bold promise: no sanctioning fees.
They're going to be a Zuffa belt, where like the winner of the Zuffa belt has a springboard into like Riyadh season and a championship fight, a Ring Magazine fight.
You and I have never talked about this, but the answer is yes.
Right,
That's
of course.
exactly what will happen.
Of course, yeah. Right.
There will be a Zuffa belt, and then there will be a ring belt. And yes,
White made it clear in several interviews that if Zuffa Boxing ran the sport, he would get rid of the sanctioning bodies completely. His point was simple and convincing. These organizations don't help the sport, they just take money from fighters. White's criticism of the WBC and other bodies struck a chord with many fans who were tired of seeing fighters give up part of their purses to groups that seemed more interested in fees than protecting athletes. Sullivan appeared on the Ariel Helwani show to defend the WBC and respond to White's claims, but his argument sounded defensive and out of touch.
Said I could not go into the ring. So I said, okay, just have 2 or 3 security guards to throw me out of the ring. Because I am going into the ring, it's the WBC belt, and I'm gonna have to go in and present and do my job. If you don't want me in, just have people take me out.
Of course there are no sanctioning fees because they take all the money, Sullivan said, referring to Zuffa Boxing's model. It's ridiculous, he added, saying it's very basic and comparing the two is not apples to apples. But the damage was already done. White had revealed a truth the boxing world already knew. Sanctioning fees are a burden on fighters, and the organizations that collect them don't always provide real value. Things got worse for Sullivan with a personal slight during the Crawford-Canelo fight in September 2025. According to him, Zuffa Boxing didn't give him or his team credentials to attend and even told him he could not enter the ring despite the WBC belt being at stake in what was billed as an undisputed championship fight. Having the president of a major sanctioning body denied access to a fight for his own title was humiliating. Sullivan's frustration was clear. Boxing and the UFC are different. Here it's about the fighters. The other side, it's about money, he said. The irony was obvious. While claiming to put fighters first, the WBC was stripping champions like Crawford and Stevenson for refusing to pay fees. The hypocrisy only strengthened Dana White's argument to eliminate sanctioning bodies. Shakur Stevenson did everything right. Faced top competition, defended his title, and moved up to challenge a strong champion. His reward was being stripped of his WBC lightweight title days after his biggest win. The message was clear: pay up or lose your belt, no matter your talent or sacrifice in the ring.